Hello. Um, Welcome to Agitate, where we make social movements not only great, but known. I am going to kick us off with a video
We live in a world
to tell you
that
a
is
little bit more
hurting.
about the story.
Gun violence, gender violence, climate change.
Born into this broken world, young people like myself have risen up and said no.
This passion has birthed nationwide youth-led organizations advocating for change, often with hundreds or even thousands of members.
Despite their high impact, these groups are stripped of the same resources provided to professional lobbying and advocacy groups. The thought of these youths carrying the world on their back evokes for me the words of the great abolitionist and advocate Frederick Douglass. When asked what advice he would give the young Black Americans of tomorrow, his words were to agitate, agitate, agitate.
It is in the honor of that famed abolitionist that I introduce Agitate, the agency. With a focus on branding and media relations, Agitate provides talent to create public relations materials around advocacy campaigns. We make social movements not only great, but known. By outsourcing communications efforts, social impact groups can direct their resources towards organizing, while Agitate takes care of the rest.
I am Leeah Derenoncourt, and I am agitating for change. Join me. Take the next step towards a better world.
So, how are we making a better world? We are supporting youth advocacy groups through providing them with communications and public relations materials. This means once we connect with potential clients, we do analysis, we craft materials, and leave them with toolkits so that they can take their campaigns for change and take them to the next level. Once we work with clients and provide them with the resources they need to succeed, we do it all again for the next group. The groups that we help are impact-oriented, youth-led, campaign-focused, and resource-deprived groups. These are groups that care a lot about an issue and are not just focused on educating community, but making real change. And we want to provide this resource to groups that can't provide it for themselves otherwise. Agitate is a nonprofit, and we are funded through grants, donors, and a sliding pay scale. Now, I would love to provide this service to youth advocacy groups for free, and we will hopefully do that for the most part, but we will be funded in part through a sliding pay scale based on what youth advocacy groups can pay from the donations that they are able to garner. On the other side, we will be funded through grants and donors, hopefully through agencies, organizations like the PR Council, and individuals. Agencies want to cultivate emerging professionals. They want people who are established and who know what they're talking about. The PR Council is a group of member agencies who come together to provide resources both for themselves and each other, as well as emerging professionals, and individuals are invested in the future of the PR industry. This all comes together with Agitate, where we help students help students. We are allowing students to cultivate their skill sets and contribute them to causes that they care about. And we are helping students who care deeply about issues and are fighting on the ground so that their dreams come to fruition, and we are helping them take their movements to the next level. To do this, we need $12,000. This contributes to client tools, things like MuckRack, which is a media relations tool that costs approximately $5,000 a year. Operations, unanticipated costs, because of course we want to take that into account, and a web domain so that there is a home for Agitate to live on. And we will do this throughout 2022 and 2023. So starting in Q2 with ideation, organizational structure, and each of these steps that we take are fluid in order to ensure that our movement is best prepared to support the movements of others. So we'll start with ideation, organizational structure, begin fundraising, meeting with potential partners, both on the agency side as well as on the client side, seeing who needs our help, where are they, and where can we take them. Then we'll start hiring, helping create a pool of students who are ready and able to help, and continuing with training them, building on their education, again, building those skills so that they can then help causes they care about, confirming those clients, and then hopefully in Q1 of 2023, launching those accounts. Because together, matching students with clients, with these youth social impact groups, we can truly make their social movements not only great, but known. Thank you.
So some housekeeping of how the day will go today. Each student will have 6.5 minutes to present their ideas and their videos. And then we're going to get some feedback and questions from our judges, which have been hand-selected for each tranche depending on their expertise. So I'd like to turn it now to our judges. Sabrina, do you have feedback for Leeah?
Yes. First of all, thanks for having me. It's terrific to be here today and very exciting to see this group of students, presenting some really fabulous ideas. Leeah, it was a really excellent presentation and kudos to you for going first. No small feat. I have one question for you. When you're looking for funding and building a business, it's important to show that you have clients, that you have customers, and to show momentum that your investors is sort of like proof of the pudding. Would you see yourself going to look for clients like first or in tandem with looking for funding? Like some of those things need to run in parallel.
So we actually, we have a list of clients that we will be reaching out to start out, and then as we move forward, meeting with people to see where interest can lie further out. And I think that's where connecting with potential clients later on comes into play. But definitely to start out in tandem with fundraising, even in the ideation stage and the work that I've been doing now, we have been in conversation with clients. So that we start with a small pool of individuals that I know personally and that we can establish through our network, and then build on that as we continue to build Agitate and as we continue towards launch.
And a follow-up to that, so a year from now, what does success look like? Is it 3 clients, the money that you wanted to secure, a partridge in the pear tree? What does success look like a year from now?
I did miss the first portion of your question. Could you repeat it for me, please?
Yes. What does success look like a year from now? How many clients would you have? What will you have accomplished?
A year from now, success would look like having run, so student impact groups campaigns usually run about 6 months, 3 to 6 months. So success would look like having run approximately, I want to say 7 to 10 campaigns, 6 to 10 campaigns, 3 to 5 every 6 months. And so that means starting with 3 clients and then growing to those 7 or 10. And it would look like having given toolkits to these clients to allow them to launch their campaigns, and then seeing those labors come to fruition in terms of garnering coverage or other measurements on the more analytical side and on the PR side for the campaigns that we are working on.
Okay.
Wonderful. Brent, can I ask you if you have questions or comments?
Indeed. So thank you first for a very solid presentation. I really love the name. Agitate, fan of Frederick Douglass myself. I think in terms of branding, the name is rather poignant, easy to remember, easy to share for many good reasons. So I have some of the same questions and concerns that Sabrina has already posed to you. So just some additional considerations. I do appreciate that you mentioned having a certain number of clients, right, every several months within a year. I would also encourage you to think about the audiences of the clients that you would aim to support. So do they have a timeline? So if we're talking Congress, right, you might consider how often state Congresses or the US Congress meets per year. So that might give you some guidance as to when you should be working with certain kinds of clients, certain kinds of causes, right? The other is in terms of scale. I get this as a follow-on to what Sabrina said. What might success look like? There's always that very challenging question: how big can you really be? Do you want to be, so you can always be effective, right? So because there always comes a point at which growth is a double-edged sword, right? So that's just some, I guess, encouragement to think about. What will success always have to mean as you contemplate opportunities for growth?
Thank you.
Thanks so much. I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Leeah.
Thank you, Leeah.